Missing someone, love with all your heart. Missing someone, love with heart.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren. For those of you guys who are new, I go by Locks by Lauren on Instagram, and today I'm going to show you how I created this nice ashy balayage that will grow out really nicely and seamlessly on my client. She started out with more of a solid color. This was her before, and her roots were really grown out and just super dark, so I had to really just think of a game plan to give her a softer grow out so that it's lower maintenance, and also to prevent any of this banding, because she said her last color that she got done, it just wasn't light enough. You can see there's a little bit of warmth right at the root where the regrowth is, and she really didn't like that. So I opted to do some highlights for her to blend this out, and my highlighting technique is my signature foliage technique, where I do more of a chunky highlight on the underneath here to create more of a solid look, and this way it just makes it easier for me to retouch her roots next time she comes in and keeps her hair as light as possible. Now, just to give you guys a quick idea of what her hair is like, she has a ton of hair. I don't know if you guys can see, but her hair is pretty thick and it's pretty dark too. So I had to make sure that when I was foiling her, I was taking very thin sections and making sure that I was fully saturating so that she wouldn't have any warm spots. And right at the line of demarcation where she has that warm band, I kind of just like feather the remaining color on my brush onto those pieces to try and like brighten them up a bit. But again, I'm just taking chunky weaves here and trying to get her as light as possible, because she does want to stay kind of on the silver realm. We kind of spoke and she kind of wanted to do more of an ashy brown, like mushroomy color, and kind of start going away from the silver, because she realized that the silver is a little bit high maintenance. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but she did use a lot of purple shampoo and like purple conditioner on her hair, so it is feeling like a little dark on the end. So I'm just going to clarify that with some like clarifying shampoo and run the rest of the lightener just really quickly at the bowl later, just to like brighten and take out some of the purple shampoo that's on her hair. Because sometimes when you use purple shampoo or even like a purple conditioner too much, it can darken the blonde, and a lot of clients don't realize that. They think that purple shampoo is there so that their blonde stays bright and light, but if you overdo it and use too much of it, you actually essentially start darkening the blonde, because essentially purple shampoo is just like pigment, and the more pigment you add into your blonde, the darker it gets. So that's why she was feeling a little dark, and we're just gonna kind of brighten up the ends just a little bit. I don't want to lighten it and do a full like bleach wash on her, because I don't want to over process her hair. She said her last hairdresser did that and her hair started to break off. So I'm going to do a very gentle clarifying treatment to kind of get rid of this residual like purple shampoo and tone that is on her hair. And yeah, I would just recommend for her to only use purple shampoo when she feels like she's getting too yellow. If she likes the color, she really doesn't need to use it. And in between the purple shampoo, I would recommend using like a normal sulfate-free shampoo that has no pigment, just to maintain the color. So my foiling pattern for my client here, I do back-to-back weaves throughout her whole head. The underneath, everything below the crown, I don't leave any extra negative space other than the hair that I leave out from each weave. But as soon as I get towards the crown and kind of where she parts her hair, I will be leaving like a very fine slice in between each weave. And that's just to kind of blend her root a little bit and give her some dimension, because if I were to do back-to-back foil weaves with no negative space, she would feel super solid. And if I were to leave too much negative space in between when you're transitioning a client from a solid color to a balayage such as this. You should definitely maybe do more of a heavy weave in her first session, because if you leave too much dimension this first session transitioning your client to more of a seamless blend, it can look a little like stripy, and like you'll see the line of where the old color kind of starts in between your highlights if you end up leaving too much dimension. So especially on dark hair and coarse hair like this, and since her blonde is so light compared to her natural, I was trying to weave this more solid, and then when she comes back in, if she feels like she wants more dimension, that's when we can add it. But I like to gradually get my clients to be dimensional. I don't like to just put more dimension from such a solid color, because it just looks funny when it's straight, especially on levels that are so contrasting. And I didn't get this on film, but as a reference for her money piece, I always ask my clients like what they want their front money piece to look like, because that is right around the face and that's what they see the most. So some clients can be pretty particular with the money piece, so I always like to make sure that we're on the same page, because if you mess up the money piece, that is literally the biggest thing and the only thing they see like right in front of their face. So if it's messed up, they will for sure complain about it or like say something, which is totally normal, because I mean, if my money piece was messed up, I wouldn't be happy either, because that's like the first thing you see. So for her money piece, I did a baby light, and then I did a slice, and then I did 2 baby lights right after, and then I continued to do her highlights horizontally on the sides. And I feel like this money piece pattern is probably my most requested, because it's bold but not too bold enough for these type of looks. With this foiling technique, I think I probably foiled her for about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 to do her whole head, and that's typically how long I will take foiling a client that has a lot of hair like this and wanting just like a solid back-to-back foliage type of look. And I feel like this highlighting pattern just like really makes it quick and easy for me to get through the process a little bit quicker, and I'm also able to get my clients as light as possible with this technique. Now, once I was done foiling her whole head, I did take her to the dryer, and I just put the dryer on like medium to high heat, just to kind of mimic her body heat and kind of speed up the process a little bit. But as she's under the dryer, I do check her every like 10 minutes to make sure that her hair is lifting well, and I'm able to pull out the foils when they're ready. So I went ahead and made sure that my client was lifted to at least a level 9 and 10 before I started pulling out her foils. And as I was pulling out her foils, I did notice that there was a slight warm band. I don't know if you guys can kind of see there, where she had that line of demarcation from the old color. And I'm not really sure what it was. It could possibly be that maybe the last shadow root she had from her previous stylist. Maybe she used some permanent color that just didn't lift as well or come out. Because when you put permanent color on your hair, it does tend to lift a little bit warmer than the virgin hair. Or it could just be that her hair there was being a little bit more stubborn. But overall, I let my client know that, and I did have to mix up 2 separate toner formulas for the root because of this band. So once I rinsed out all of my client's foils, I started to clarify her mids and ends, and I used the Pulprite Budapest clarifying shampoo, and then I just ran through some lightener on the mids and ends very quickly, because here you can see how dark her hair was previously from that purple shampoo of her just like overlaying the purple shampoo and purple conditioner on top of her hair. So here is my client's after. I'm super happy with the results, and so is she. I ended up toning her with 2 different root formulas. I used the Pulp Riot Liquid Demis for this, and at the root I did 6-0 for her mini shadow root. I did about an inch from the root there, and then on the mids where that band was, I mixed up 7-0 with 8-2 to kind of create a mushroomy brown, and you can kind of still see the band just ever so slightly, but overall it blended really well and the toner covered it pretty well there. And then after that root was processing for a few minutes, I did run that lighter formula on the mids and ends a little bit, and it just quickly toned the mids and ends, and everything just kind of came out super seamless and beautiful. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this week's hair transformations. If you learned something new, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. I do post videos every Monday. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to this week's video. And I will talk to you guys next week.